What's going on, guys? This is Corey Eric, and this is my channel. Let's have a conversation. I think where I left off, I said DUI number three, but I was actually beginning to start with DUI number four. So I end up getting the DUI number four. Wake up that next morning, like I said, my eyes were bloodshot red. Nothing's worse than to go to jail drunk and wake up sober. And like thinking to yourself, what the hell did I do? So I'm sitting in there, I had already had previous DUIs, so I knew the drill. But the only thing was this time it was on a weekend. So I couldn't see the commissioner until like a Monday or a Tuesday, and I'm in there and I'm just dreading life, right? So I go to see the commissioner. At this time, no, I wasn't working. I wasn't working at this time. I was not working. I was just drinking and partying, whatever. So I go to see the commissioner, and the commissioner gave me a $10,000 bond. No, I just said I wasn't working right. I never forget it was March the 14th. And I said, God damn it. Well, I'm going to get $10,000. I was just panicking. I was like in my early, yeah, I was 20, how old was I? I was like 26. Yeah, I was like 25, 26 at this time. Yeah, I was 25. Um, so listen, I said I was 25, right? So imagine I got four DUIs by the time I was 25, 26 years old. That tells you I was running away from, I was running, okay? So, anyways, so I go to see the commissioner, and the commissioner said, $10,000 bond. Oh my God, my heart dropped to the floor. So I'm thinking, oh, what am I do? My mom always said my whole life, if you get in trouble, do not call me. You put yourself there, you get yourself out. So I knew not to call my mom. I called her and told her the situation. And my mom was a Christian woman, so she would pray for me, whatever. But she told me, I told you, if you go to jail, I'm not going to get you out, right? So I'm in jail. And my dad had just he was dealing with his thing with diabetes, and I know he wasn't working, so I couldn't ask him. So I ended up sitting in jail for like 40 days. And one day I was sitting in jail, and I was like, and I have three uncles. Three of my uncles have money, so I said, I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna ask one of my uncles if they can pay it and get me out, and I promised to pay them back once I got a job. So I sat in there for a month, 35 days. So one day I'm sitting in the cell, right? At this place, they release you at midnight. So I'm like laying down sleep, and it was like, Gant. I didn't want to say that. Pretend like you didn't hear. They called my name, and they said, "Get your stuff, grab your stuff. You're going home." And I was like, "Going home? How am I going home?" So I get out there. I didn't know who was picking me up. I get out there and I go in the parking lot, and there's my dad and his new wife at the time. And I was like, how'd you get me out? Because my bond was saying, I knew you didn't have it. You've been going through this and that. And he was like, your uncle paid it. When I got home, I called my uncle. I was so grateful, so grateful. But I hadn't learned, y'all. I had not learned. So my uncle paid it. I did good for a while. But then I would just sit home, and then the boredom would kick in. And then I was like, well, I'm going to go out, but I'm going to not drink this. I'm going to drink this. Because if I drink this, I know how I'm going to act. But if I drink this, how many know that's a drink or that's an alcoholic, that it all leads back to the same thing? So, anyways, I did good for a while, and next thing you know, I'm back to partying, drinking, and stuff like that. So that was my fourth one, and what happened was I got out of jail like 35 days after being in there, and then they gave me a court date for the next month. So I was out for a month, and then when I went to the court date, they sentenced me to another 10 days. So here I was back in there again for 10 days. But they said, but I wouldn't have to do any probation. I was like, okay, cool, I can do 10 days. I don't have to worry about probation because with the other ones, I had to do probation, had to see a probation officer. Oh my God, that just opened up a whole nother can of worms. I forgot about those. The probation officer, I was in jail for warrants all the time because I would dip out on the probation officer. I mean, I just did all this stuff in my 20s. I never saw this in my high school year, all because I was running away from that feeling, that feeling. I wasn't doing anything, but I knew where my attraction was headed. So instead of dealing with it, I would just drink it away, smoke it away, snort it away, anything I could do to get it away. That's why when I see people like chastising people that are gay, they don't realize the turmoil it puts on the person that's dealing with it. It's like, to me, it's like, why doesn't it kick in? Like, everybody has something that they're suffering with, that they have a hard time breaking away from, or they have a something that they're dealing with and they can't understand how to get away from it. So for someone to be so easily to attack you for something that you're dealing with as if they're not dealing with anything. Well, anyway, they got sidetracked. But I'm passionate about it because when we're younger, right? These are for my mothers and my fathers. When we're younger, I would advise you, if you have say for instance you got a child, it's a little boy, and you see at 2 and 3 years old, you see he does things that's what typical boys don't do. So you'll say, don't do that. Little boys don't do that. 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 Don't cry. Little boys don't do that. Don't do this. Little boys don't do that. Don't do that. Little boys don't do that. And you hear it over and over and over and over again. And everything inside you, you want to do it. So what you start to do is you hide. You'll wait till no one's around, and then you still do it. Like me, I had a sister. My sister had a dog. So like when I was by, I was never. I'm not a feminine gay at all. Like people that are feminine gay, they get mad at me because I can walk through life and like I've never dealt with any. I never dealt with anyone like attacking me. Or I don't know how to say it, but I just never dealt with it. And then I noticed that a lot of feminine guys would be like, well, that's because you can pass. And I was like, pass? I was like, this is who I am. It's like I'm the type of person, I don't feel like you have to be feminine when you're gay. There's no shade to the feminine guys, but I am who I am, and that's what it is. And one thing that I am thankful for is through all the stuff I've been through in my life, it builds so much character and so much my I have such thick skin. Nothing that anyone says about me can penetrate because, like I always say, you can throw darts at me all day and I'm not going to say ouch because I've been called so many names in my life, it just rolls off of me. Like this. See my skin? See my skin? I dealt with this my whole life. And we went to doctors, and no one never knew what it was. Even as a child, I had it, right? And I go to dermatologists and dermatologists. I've been called names like splotch. I mean, all kinds of names because of my skin. And I used to be very self-conscious about it. But one day I was sitting there and I was watching something on YouTube, and this person's face, they had vitiligo, and their whole face was like this color. And I said, I'm sitting here because I was so self conscious that I used to buy makeup. Matter of fact, let me show you. I would buy makeup, and I mean, I had all kinds of Sephora stuff. It was like, I mean, I just had makeup galore, right? And I got tired of doing it because it was making me sweat. And then I have a way of wiping my nose like this a lot, and it would be on my hand, and then I would touch my shirt, and then the makeup would be on the shirt. So I had prayed. I said, you know what? I'm gonna have to somehow or another figure out how to be satisfied with these spots and don't care what nobody says. And once I got comfortable in that, I never wore makeup again. And when people say like, "Well, what's that on your neck?" I'll be like, "Well, I got sarcoidosis, and it affects my skin." Yeah, I was finally diagnosed with sarcoidosis, but I don't have it in my lungs. I have it in my skin, and that's why I have all these light spots on my face. And hey, it is what it is. But one thing you'll learn about me on Let's Have a Conversation, I would be talking about one thing, and then I would go off to something else, and I can't even. What was I saying? What was I saying? Somebody, oh man. Anyway, so oh yeah. So when you be saying this to these little boys like that, what do you think it does to that little boy who's struggling with his sexuality? What do you think it that does to that little boy? That hurts that little boy. So then now they're a teenager, and now as a teenager, you the feelings are even stronger. That same attract. Okay, imagine this. You know, as a teenager, that's when your hormones get to going and blah blah blah. Imagine being a boy and your hormones are going wild or whatever, and you know you're supposed to be attracted to females, but your hormone, but everything inside of you, you're drawn to males. But then your whole life you were told it was wrong. Can you imagine the turmoil that puts that teenager into? And for people to just call you, I mean, just people just call you names as if it's not hurting you. I never understood that. I've never been a person to just call people names. I never understood that. But anyway, I said all this to say a lot of when people do that, parents do that to their child, and then the child end up. Sometimes they'll leave, they'll never come back. If you ever notice, like sometimes a child is running away or doesn't want their family to know, they'll move away, far away, and they may come back holidays. Or you got ones that are did like I did. I was running away, but I ran away through drugs. I ran away through alcohol. I ran away through whatever. And I was doing all this, and like I said, by the time I was 26, I had 4 DUIs. The fourth one I got, let's see, I got one, two, I was 26. I thought I had beat it. Okay, four, I'm not doing no more because now the laws are getting stricter, right? So I did a couple. I did like, oh, I did three. No, I did 3 years, nothing. I was doing good. I did everything I was supposed to do. Then the new year came. The new year came. I'm partying, celebrating the New Year. I'll never forget it. That was also on the 14th, January, 14th of January. Partying, bringing in the New Year's, yay, yay, yay. And I decide I'm going to get in my car and drive. I don't even know where I was driving, but I had to get there wherever it was. And here I go again. I get stopped. DUI number 5. You see what one thing can lead to, how just because you're running from something, you get caught up in alcoholism, you get caught up in drugs. And I wasn't learning. I was like depressed. I would go into my room sometimes and I wanted it pitch dark. I would sleep for hours on end. I was just depressed because this thing was so heavy on my shoulder and I didn't want to be it, but I was like, I can't get away from him. So the fifth one, my mom finally said, "What is going on with you?" She said, "What is going on with you? You weren't this person before." She said, "I know something is going on." She said, "Because it's like you keep getting in trouble and you're not learning from it. It's like it happens, you do good, and then it happens again, and it's like you're not learning from it. What is going on?" And I'll never forget, it was me, her, and my aunt was riding in the car. And she said this to me, and I burst out crying. I'm getting emotional now. This has been a long time ago, but I'm getting emotional because if only people knew the hurt, if only people knew the hurt that men, especially black men, go through when they're dealing with sexuality. Because their whole life they're told it's wrong, and you hear, I had all uncles. I didn't tell you that I had all uncles, 5 uncles, only 2 aunts, 5 uncles. I was around a bunch of men my whole life, so that was definitely a no. So I was really struggling. I was like, oh, my uncle find out, they're gonna they're gonna talk about me, they're gonna roast me, whatever. So when my mom said, "What is going on with you? Why are you acting out like this?" And I said, "Mom, I said the reason why these things are happening is because I'm running from something." She said, "What are you running from? What is it? What is it? It can't be that bad." I said, "I am gay." Wow. I, I literally feel the feeling I felt then. I said, "I am gay." And I've been praying, just trying to pray this away because I didn't want, but it would not leave me. And this is why I keep getting in trouble. And this is why. And she said, "Why didn't you just tell others?" She said, "Why didn't you just tell us? You know your father and I would have loved you." She said, "You know your father and I would have loved you regardless. You didn't have to go through this." I did not know this was going to happen. I'm sorry. But I feel that feeling again. And then she said, "You didn't have to go through all that." When I tell y'all, when I tell y'all, that's the day I became free. That's the day I became free. Because once my mother said, we going to love you no matter what, my life changed. My life changed. I ended up telling my, because, like I said, my parents was separated, so I ended up telling my father. My father was like, oh, I knew. I was just waiting for you to tell me. I mean, that's how my father was. He said, I been knew. He said, remember that day I cleaned your room up? And I was like, yeah. He said, I saw that CD you had underneath the bed. And this was like, I had bought a CD when I was younger, right? Because I wanted to see, I had bought a gay CD, right? And I hid it underneath my mattress in my bedroom. So when I told my father, I was like, I'm gay. He's like, I know. Because when he said no. He said he went to look at something in my room. He was looking underneath the bed or looking somewhere, and he found the DVD. He never said anything, and he never changed. He said, I've been there. I was just waiting for you to tell me. And when I sit there and I thought about it, I said, all those years, I struggled. Y'all don't know the depression I went through. Y'all do not know the depression I went through. Mm. All because I felt like Gabe was wrong because I was taught that. But once my parents said that, that weight lifted off of me. I swear my life changed. And from that point on, I didn't care what no one said about me. And to this day, and it kills people. They'll be calling me all kinds of names, and it doesn't bother me. When you live this life, you have a skin so thick. And that's why a lot of gay people can live the way they live is because you develop thick skin. And nothing no one says about you can bother you. But I have a lot of things that I can share. And I'll be talking about some political stuff also. But right now I'm just sharing a lot. I'm sharing myself with you guys so you can get a better understanding of me. Right now I'm touching on the alcoholism. Like on one of the previous videos I said I also had a 21-year addiction to coke and crack. When I start telling y'all those stories and the things I witnessed, and I want women to really listen because I really want women to listen because I saw things while I was doing drugs, and that's when I realized, hey, a lot of these men that you think are straight, I mean, I've seen in that lifestyle, I've seen the hardest of hard men do some gay stuff. So when women be like, well, not my man, girl, oh, girl, mm-mm-mm. The stories I got to tell y'all. But anyways, I have one more DUI because I'm at 5. I have 6. The 6th one, that's the one that took me through the ringer. And I'll tell you that on the next time. But please like and share. And share this with somebody that may be struggling with their sexuality. And let them know that oftentimes when we are holding on to it and we suffering from depression and we're angry with the world and we're mad. And I have to say this to these black men too. Because I was that black man before when I was dealing with it. I would look at other gay people. I had a cousin. He was gay, and he was just out there. And, hey, y'all, this is my little cat, and she is spoiled as whatever. Hey, her name is Chloe. Say hi, Chloe. Say hi, Chloe. Hey, say hi, Chloe. Anyways, I had a cousin that was he was all he was gay, and I would resent him. I was like, how can he live his life and be so free? And I'm sitting over here struggling, right? But boy, when I tell you, once I told my mom and the way she reacted, and my dad, and I thought all those years I ran from it, and all I had to do was say something. And I know it's not like that with everybody's family, but you have to choose you. You have to choose you. You have to choose you, right, Chloe? You gotta choose you because if you don't choose you, nobody else is gonna choose you. So I'm gonna be putting out a lot of videos because I have a lot to say, and once I start sharing those crack stories, y'all gonna be hooked. Trust and believe me, I've seen some stuff. I've seen a lot of gay stuff by a lot of straight people. I've seen, I participated in a lot of things that even now at the age of 53, I can't believe I did. Oh, let me let y'all know, all this stuff happened in my early 20s and then 30s, and then I don't drink or drug. I haven't drank and drugged in over 15 years. But I'm just sharing my stories because it's a lot of people like me out there who's been through a lot in life and have saw a lot of things. And I just feel like if I get my story out, because a lot of times you don't have to go through the things you're going through, all because you think the world is going to hate you. You don't have to go through that. One thing I found out in this world, it don't matter what you do in life. People are either gonna like you or hate you. You just gotta be your authentic self. I'm an introvert. I'm not a people person. I'm an introvert ambivert, which means I do go out. I go out when I feel like it. But when I don't, I just don't go out. I'm the type of person like I'm not going anywhere and if I don't want to go, because I used to go to places and sitting there and be just miserable and wishing I was home. So I made a decision that hey, if I don't feel like going, I'm not going, and then I'm not gonna let nobody force me to go. I'm just not gonna go. So now people will say, "Oh, I'm stuck in my ways." Yes, I am, because for most of my life I lived for other people. Once I started living for myself, what I say is what it is. And people know that in my family and my friendship. I don't cut corners. I'm truthful. You act one thing about me, I'm going to tell you before somebody tell you. Like I'm going to tell you first. You will never say something about me that I won't tell you on my own. But anyways, I'm going all over the place again. But eventually, as I do more of these, I'll get better at it. But if you stayed throughout the whole time, I thank you for that. I ask that you will share it. I ask that you will like it, at least like it, and please comment. I will be replying. I'll be reading the comments. Comment if you share some of these experiences. Like I said before, I'm going to be coming back. I have so many stories. I still got to touch on the 6 DUI, and then I go into how I got into cocaine and crack more deeply, and the experiences that I had with that. That's going to be a 18-part series probably because a lot happened during those times. But anyways, y'all, enjoy this rest of the day. It's actually what's today? Today's February the 15th. No, actually today's is what's today? Yeah, today's the 16th. And it was very rainy. I'm in Maryland. It's very rainy here. I'm taking those on the wall. I'm taking pictures and stuff down because I'm getting ready to move. I'm really getting ready to move downsize. We're moving from a four-bedroom house into a two, but it's just two of us. I have a partner. We've been together for 15 years. I'll talk about him later on too. I just have a lot I want to share, and I just ask that y'all will come along and join the ride with me. It's not asking much. I'm just wanting to have a conversation. And that's why this channel is called Let's Have a Conversation. I'll see y'all next time.